Welcome to the Soul Star Podcast with your spiritual besties, Allie and Mandy. We're here to make your spiritual journey fun, relatable, and inspiring. So let's raise your vibe and ignite your soul together.
Welcome back to another episode of the Soul Star Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here today to continue our series on the clairs, which are the different ways that we can receive our psychic gifts, our messages, and our guidance. We've talked about clairsentience, which is the way that we feel our messages. So some people receive our messages feeling, and then we've talked about clairvoyance, which is like the third eye and seeing. And today we're going to talk about claircognizance, which is the hardest one to understand because it's just so natural that it's hard to pick up when it's our claircognizance kicking in. But before we do that, do you have any stories, Allison?
Not that I can think of.
And you sure?
I do. I feel like there's one floating around in my head and I can't pin it down. So no, not for now.
Okay. Well, I have a quick story. I was over on the mainland with Aubrey for a ball tournament on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting in the stands right behind the manager of the ball team. And she had the iPad and she was doing the score. And one of the other moms looked over at her and said, "Here, I'll take it. I'll do that." And so she just handed it over. And in my head, I was like, why did you give her the iPad? Because that was a question I had. Why did you give her control of the score? And then not even 5 seconds later, the manager texts me, and this is her text message back. Because the ump is not calling strikes, so she's going to work the stats to benefit her own child as much as she can. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And I'm like, that's crazy, but okay. And then I text back and I said, I love that you heard me ask you telepathically why she took the game changer from me, why she took the iPad. And then the manager was just like, oh, because I felt it.
Now, could she see your face?
No, her back was to me.
No.
Yeah. Her back was to me. And so I was sitting behind her and she handed it over. I watched the whole exchange. And then in my head, I said, why did you give her the iPad? Because it was a bit of like here, give that to me kind of thing. And I was like, that was rude.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. I was like, why would you do that? Why did you give that to her? And then her literal text was because. So she was literally answering my question.
That's what I find super crazy because like, even if it was like in your head, like even if you could sense like being like, I know, Mandy. Usually you would text and be like, I know, I shouldn't have brought it over, whatever, right? Like usually that's what somebody would say, anticipating what you're thinking. Yeah. But the fact that she literally answered it, like that is completely different. And that's so freaking crazy. But like I was like saying to you that I said, yeah, Mandy, your energy is loud. There's been many times that, you know, whether we've been teaching, whether we've been on a call, whether we've been recording, whatever it is, and I can like send you being like, wrap it up, it's done, or getting agitated or irritated or whatever. And you don't have to say nothing. And I'm like instantly like in my head, okay. Yeah, no, we're going to do this. So I could so relate that it's like your energy when you are kind of like irritated or whatever, it's loud.
It's a project. I project it and it's like a poof into your head.
Yeah, you can't hide that shit.
No, you can't. And you know what? One of the ways that we're going as a collective is we ascend into new earth and all that sort of stuff. Is telepathy is going to come online. So we're not going to be able to hide our true feelings for much longer. If you're on this ascension path and you're raising your frequency, it's going to be very, very.
I know it's just like it's hard, right? Like I have found with my new relationship that which is really creepy, like kind of like holy fuck. Like so say my energy shifts, like say something's pissed me off.
Well, I can sense those very easily when your energy shifts. It's like, ooh,
oh shit. And all of a sudden I'm like irritated, and I can hide it really well because that's how
To other people.
to other people. And I'm like, and especially like with you, it'd probably be easy where I'd be like, I'm like probably not even trying to hide it. But in this situation, like, especially, when you first date somebody and stuff, like, you're just not at that place
Yeah.
yet to fully be like, but there's been so many times that, yes, something's going on in my head. I'm in my head. I'm sorting it out. I'm on the outside, like, oh yeah, doing my face. And I can send, like, all of a sudden, like, say we're watching TV or else, looking over, looking over, looking over. And I'm like, oh my God, he senses it. Shit. And I'm like, and then I try to be even more cool, and like where he'll be like, say something like about the show, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And then it's like, just look over, look at it. And so I'm like, oh shit. And so picking up on there was an energy shift, and like, so it is crazy, like, because he's doesn't do what you and I do, but is very intuitive. I would say he's very intuitive, but doesn't like openly know it or understand it or whatever. But I can clearly fucking see it. That has happened numerous times because I've been pissed off numerous. No, I'm kidding.
Because he's triggered me so much.
Yes. But it's like so many times, and then it will be like, "What's up? Talk about it." Like, "What's up?"
There's no hiding. He doesn't let you get away with anything. I love it.
I know. Forces me to, say it in the moment instead of, because my MO, I realize, is like taking shit away and just, I guess, transmuting it in a way, right? So kind of like maybe I'm triggered. I'm like in my head, but then I take it away. And it's like I let it settle and transmute, and then it's like, it's okay, it's all right, but I haven't dealt with anything, right?
So he's he's teaching you how to do it in the moment.
Yeah. That's hard.
I know it's hard.
Yeah. Right. That's really hard, but it's good. So, okay, let's get, yeah. There, I had a story.
Yeah.
Okay, claircognizance. This is my least favorite.
Well, it's the
hardest one to
explain.
Yeah, explain,
validate,
validate, to test it.
Yeah.
Practice it.
You can't practice it.
It's like it's hard to pinpoint. It's just like it's just,
but it's there because we all receive it and we've all experienced it. So cognizance, it's the ability to receive knowledge, ideas, and truth instantly without any logical explanation. It's just like a drop, like a thought has been dropped in your head. It is what it is. There's no logical explanation.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
there.
True.
And it's the truth, and it's truth, and it feels like truth. There's a frequency about it. Like it's just, you just know. You just know.
And I think that why this one's a difficult one, because I kind of feel like maybe you could mix it up with other things like clairaudience, which we will talk about next week. Because like clairaudience is very much a thought pops into your head. That's right. You're receiving that clairaudiently. And the knowing could kind of be mixed up with that too, right? Where it just pops into your head.
I would say same with clairsentience, because it's a feeling too.
A feeling,
You just have that feeling that and you just have that thought that's come in.
I just know, my God, I just know. And so that's where it's so like interweaving, and this is why we've kind of even said with all the clairs, eventually you get to the point where you're just using them. You're not necessarily saying like, oh, that was my claircognizance that came through, and that was my clairsentience, and it all just weaves in together, and it's coming in. But it's nice to kind of break it down at the beginning stages so that you can like understand it a bit more
and start to recognize how your messages are coming in.
Yeah,
we're all getting them. So you might be sitting here listening and be like, I'm not gifted, or I don't have any of these clairs. You do. You haven't made it through the weeds yet to understand exactly how you're receiving it.
Yeah. Well, we've had a few people reach out, both weeks
Yeah.
in regards to, these episodes and being like, oh my God, like, I've been able to like recognize and be like, yes, I do that. And that's the best. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like so thankful for everybody who has reached out to say like this series been really helpful. That it's like, connected the dots like that's like what our purpose is with all of this is to helping people connect the dots, remember to validate to whatever it is of something you already hold. So that's so amazing that it's kind of like helping in that way. So hopefully this oddball of a Claire episode will help too.
Well, think about a time. So everybody can think about a time where they were just doing whatever they do through it. Yeah, doing in their day. And then all of a sudden they just received something, like there was just a feeling, it was a thought, it was a knowing that something was off or something was truth or whatever. Like when you come across somebody, for example, and the first time meeting them, you just know, in some cases, you just know whether they're good people or bad people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're trustworthy or they're not trustworthy.
Yeah.
Or for example, I just knew something would shift for me in my corporate role this year in 2025. I didn't know how that would look, when it would happen.
Just knew.
I just knew. I just was this feeling, this gut feeling. It was an energy. I just knew, and something has changed for me in my corporate role. So it's just like and sometimes it can be like immediate, and sometimes you can feel into the future. Like it can be something that you're connecting to that isn't going to happen for a while, but you just know that that's what you're working towards, or you just know that that's going to happen. Like
Totally.
I just know I'm going to buy a house in this area. I just know it.
Right?
Well,
it's just like my condo, right? Like I had no idea, but I just knew that there was a certain condo that I was, or place that I was going to move to, and literally had no idea, and I didn't push it, and I just kind of was like, but I just know, and then it sure fucking happened. It was loud and clear. And so I get that feeling again, in my career where I'm like, I just have a feeling that and I have for a while now. So like, this time of the year, I don't know, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm like talking, going, keep your mouth shut. I will tell you after the fact.
Yeah. We just know not to say
that something is shifting. That I'd known for a while. That I was like, oh God. And I could see it in the time period. And as I'm approaching that, I'm like, oh shit. I was right. And sometimes you don't want to be right. But it is what it is. I remember having like, I remember having this knowing, like I was at like a work event, and I went back to my room, and I just knew that somebody was going to message me, and couldn't explain it, but I just knew. And I kept looking at my phone because I was like, no, I just know. And sure enough, the text message came in. So that was I just knew. I just knew it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't explain it.
It's hard to explain. You can't explain it. It's like, well, here's some common signs of claircognizance. So you get this like sudden ideas or insights that feel like they just kind of drop out of nowhere. So these would be considered what in this community, a lot of people would consider that as a download, right? And I used to get tons of creative downloads and inspiration when we were building Soulstar. And they just felt like they were just kind of dropping it. I was just brushing my teeth, doing. And all of a sudden, this creative thought would come in, and I just knew this was a direction that we needed to move in.
Yeah.
And so those are kind of the downloads that you get. You often know what someone is going to say before they say it. This happens to me a lot too. And then do you find sometimes you like finish their sentence for them, or you them off and say what they're going to say anyways? I can't help it.
All the time. Do you remember when we went to that retreat? And we had done a little mini reading for everybody at the retreat. And so we, knew their energy. And I was sat beside somebody that I remember when we'd read there was skepticism that we tapped into. And so, of course, I'm like, oh, God. Why no, I'm still coming out of the spiritual closet and I'm beside the person that's skepticism. And I'm like, and I remember sitting there having a conversation, and that's totally what happened, because I remember, I forget what we were talking about, but I ended up answering her as if
before she answered it,
before she asked the question.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Get Allison, like, she's already creeped out by this whole thing, and you go and pull that shit, that now she thinks you're reading her mind?" I'm like, "I'm not." Yeah, I just, after I'd said it, I realized, "Oh, shit, she never asked a question."
It's lucky.
It is, but it's just, like, the wrong person to do it to, because I'm like, "Oh, now she's probably not gonna talk to me at all," and I remember being like, "Great, way to make it weird."
You're good at making it weird.
I was trying to be cool, though. I was trying to be cool.
Okay, so another
Absolutely.
common sign of claircognizance is that you feel the truth of something without needing the proof.
So, like, a walking lie detector?
Basically, right? Again, like energy doesn't lie, right? So you can feel, you don't need the proof, you can feel it. Like you just know. There's no
Yeah.
explanation, you just know. That's the theme of this podcast episode. You
just know. And the thing, what's funny is, like, you and I have talked about this where, like, when I was in dating and,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And I remember, one of the things where I was like, "Oh, man," like, because I don't know, like, I got weird about dating. Like, I'm like, "You don't know if things are red flags or you should be fine." And I remember somebody saying something, and I was telling Mandy, and I was like, "Oh, do you think I should be worried about, like, what do you and then she was like, "Well, what was your first thought with it?" And I said, "Oh, I was impressed." And then I went, "Ooh, should I be?" And that's like the knowing. Like, that's kind of like my knowing said that was fine, but my ego came in to then question it. And so I think we do knowing more often than we realize. And then it's, that then your ego's coming in the moment you start to be like, "Yeah, but
As soon as you
is
say
it this
yeah,
way?" Yeah.
yeah, but is the ego.
Yeah. The first feeling was the intuition.
Yeah. Don't listen to
Yeah.
your yeah, but.
Yeah, but yeah, but go away.
Yeah, but here.
Yeah. Fear, ego.
Yeah.
Did you say this one? You may struggle to explain why you know what you know, but you're usually right.
Oh, I struggle to explain why I know what I know all the time.
All the
I don't know
time.
how to explain half the things that I say out loud.
Oh,
It's hard.
I know. I do find that hard too. Like, I've tried to explain, um, a situation. It's just so hard. And I'm like, it's so weird. So I'm like, many times I've been like, like, I can't find the proper words. And then I'm like, you just don't know what I'm talking about. And they're like, clearly, I don't know what you're talking about.
So hard.
Frustrating.
I know.
I know. Cause it's like you feel the energy of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, you can't speak that energy.
It's just all you can do is say, I can't explain it. I just know.
Yeah. I just know.
Just know.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust me and follow me.
Do as I say.
Do as I say. You tend to think fast and make decisions quickly and process information rapidly. That is you.
Yes, that is me 1,000%.
Yes.
Some people might consider this spontaneous.
Yep.
But there are definitely spontaneous actions that I take that I just know, like, why wait? I know this is what I'm supposed to do. So let's just do it now. I'm a fast mover, and perhaps that's due to my claircognizance, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And then, like, people may call you wise, logical, or even psychic. I do that myself. I'll be like,
psychic.
because I'm psychic. I like to do it as a joke, and I'm like, maybe I'm psychic or something.
Must be intuitive.
Must be intuitive or something. And then it's like, and so especially when your, like, gut feelings are spot on, And like, so, and I think it's like, if you've ever said, I just know, you've experienced claircognizance,
Yeah.
right? So if anybody's ever been like, I just know, that's claircognizance. It's so simple,
Yeah.
which intuition is very simple and subtle. And that's where sometimes it's like, "T- I've been doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
I think it's important to share too that it doesn't like it comes in differently for everybody. So it isn't always just like a drop into your brain, a thought and a energy. Sometimes you can experience your claircognizance as like a mental download during meditation or spiritual work. So a lot of the messages and guidance that you and I will receive is through meditation when we're intentionally going into meditation to ask questions or to receive guidance.
Mm,
This is also kind of ties to the clairaudience, which we'll talk about in our next episode,
yeah.
where you're having like conversation with spirit. But there's been tons of times where I'm sitting there and I'm in meditation and I'm like trying to feel into a certain situation, and then it just drops in like a knowing, not
Yeah.
necessarily a conversation, but just a deep knowing. And then it's like a heart-centered energy, and it's just there's this energy of like um almost like responsibility, like okay, like I understand that, and
Mm,
I receive that, and now I'm going to move forward with that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, they talk about how like when your mind clears and is relaxed, that can be like when you're driving, like showering, walking, doing those like mundane things.
Yeah.
Um, falling asleep when you're in that in between. I've definitely have had that where all of a sudden it's like I'm in that in between and then boom. And I'm like, seriously? And then they're like, dude, if you would connect on a regular basis, we wouldn't have to do this at sleep time. Um,
Hate receiving it. Like I love that energy being in the in between, but I hate receiving information in that space because then I forget it as soon as I come out of that space.
oh,
Can't
absolutely.
remember
Oh,
it.
absolutely. All the time. I even find it's been happening when I'm going to do my connection ritual, before I'm going to connect to a client's energy. Uh,
They're like you first.
yeah, like I go to my place of nature and the other day I had it where I went to my place of nature and so this is really creepy and I don't even know what it means. I went to my place of nature and it was all cleared away with what looked like a flooding.
Oh, interesting. What?
What?
We're gonna be trying to live with something. Did you ask what was happening?
Well, at first I was like, "What's going on here?" But I was going in to read a client, and typically what I have found that's happened, um, in the past is when I go to my place of nature and I'm going to read a client, like, I'll get clues, like, my things will change within not like my place of nature changes, but, like, whatever's kind of happening will kinda change based on the client. And so at first I was like, because when I kind of, like, went and I was starting to walk, I was like, "Whoa." And I, like, look around and I'm like, "Everything's flattened." And I'm like and there was, like, one lone tree over there, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I was like, "Is this a hurricane? Was this a" but then it looked like the grass and everything was watered, like, water had come.
Did it
And
match your reading?
um, um,
Yeah, like did it make sense in the reading that you did
oh, I didn't
after?
no.
Oh, okay. So let
I don't f it didn't feel connected. That was the thing. I didn't it's like I instantly knew knew that this wasn't to do with my client. This was
Mm.
more of a hijack of like, "Hey, you've connected." And then I was like, "Okay, so what is this?" And I'm like, "Are you trying to show me a premonition?" And and then I was just like, "Okay, I don't have fucking time for this right now because I need
And
to
you haven't come back?
damage, man."
Allison, this is important. Like, listen to me. This isn't don't fuck with this.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
Linda.
You're like, "Elsa, you need to know so that we can move."
No, I feel like this is important. You need to go back in tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Did this happen? Like 2 weeks ago?
No, last
Good.
week. Last
Okay.
week.
Okay. So I need you to go in today and report back to me tonight.
Damn it. Okay, fine.
I am not because this feels like when you're telling this story, it feels really important to me. Like, I feel like I just know you need to go back in and ask some questions. There's a message there for you that feels urgent.
I
You don't like it?
know. I know. I don't like it. And then I know. And then when I was in there, I instantly was kind of receiving hey, we are going to start showing you some, we're going to start showing you
911s?
images. Yes. And premonitions of events. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I think a part of me was kind of like, I want to there was a bit of me that
Some fear.
that feels scary to
Yeah.
me in that sense. And it feels scary to share, because I do see how psychics share and you can be ridiculed and all that stuff. And so there was a part of me that was like, that's really vulnerable. And so I think I kind of backed away from that. And I was like, ah. And then also part of me being like, all right, I don't want to know if there's going to be a flood. Just going to put my head in the sand. So yes, I agree with you, Mandy. I do agree with you. So
Thank
whatever,
you.
I'll do that. And then I had a dream premonition
And
that in my dream, because my dreams have been so vivid lately, so fucking visceral. And it was in the news. I was looking at the news and I was like, oh my God, did you see that Justin Bieber died? And it was like I was reading it on something, and it was one of these things where people are like, yeah, did you not know that? Or something like that. It was one of these things that I was like, oh my God. And it was so weird.
crazy.
So real.
Well, I hope he doesn't die because he has
Me
to
too.
take Hollywood down first.
I know. I agree. Okay, I'm not texting it. I'm like, it was just so weird the way it transpired. And the thing is, I could chalk that up to I've heard different psychics predict it and stuff, and then it puts it into your dream. And I'd heard that forever ago.
Yeah.
And this just plopped in. It was just so real.
But
I was watching it, but it could be a timeline because you know how we play out different timelines.
Yeah.
It could be a timeline that was just playing out that's not coming to fruition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I guess we'll see. I don't want to be on that timeline.
No, me neither.
I don't think
I don't want anybody to. No, I know. You need to survive.
First, Justin Bieber, take Hollywood down.
I know. Yeah.
We all support you. You must listen to our podcast episode and tell everybody that we're amazing. And we will all support you.
Oh my God. Manifesting to the Mac.
Manifest that Justin Bieber loves our podcast.
Absolutely. Damn. What else?
Okay.
So entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So ways that that your claircognizance can show up. Well, you talked about how you can get the ideas kind of just drop in as you're doing your day. Brushing your teeth, gardening, running, whatever. So entrepreneurs, like I said at the beginning when we were first building Soulstar, so many creative ideas were just dropping in. And a lot of creatives, so artists, painters, musicians, even like any type of artist, any type of creative, photographers, all that sort of stuff. These inspirations and these ideas will come through your claircognizance and just kind of be dropped into your awareness. And that's authors, all this sort of stuff. It's just
movies. How many times have we seen movies that you're like, dude, they're literally channeling, or that's real shit on a different realm and, timeline, plane of existence, which is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So how to strengthen your claircognizance? How do we strengthen your claircognizance? It's like we said earlier, it's hard to validate it, right?
Yeah. So, so here's some type of here's a few kind of ways to practice. It is a tough one. So, ask a clear question mentally, or write it in your journal, whatever works for you. And just wait quietly for 30 to 60 seconds and see if a thought or answer drops in.
Or longer. I just want to say, or longer. Because a lot of times we put so much pressure on receiving our guidance right away, so quickly. But one of the things that we teach our students is that sometimes you have to sit with it for a little while before things will start to form or come into your energy. So take your time. Let's not put a timer of 60 seconds. That's not enough.
No. Well, and I think when that exercise though, it's more
to trust.
Yeah, it's that trusting because sometimes like something will pop in because I think that's with like claircognizance. It's like you ask the question, it typically is like boom. You know what I mean? And it's more then when we're like, oh, okay, that came in way too quickly. So let me sit with this a bit more. And then we start to question ourselves,
Yeah.
in that sense. So
it's going to be one or the other. It's either going to come in really quickly or you're not going to get anything. It'll be crickets.
yes.
Don't
so if
give
it's
up.
cricket, then keep going.
Yeah.
If something comes in right away, then just go with that. Don't try to get oh, maybe. Like we said, go away from the old maybes.
Yeah. Yeah, buts.
The yeah, but. Yeah, but.
Yeah. Okay, so you can practice automatic writing. That is just a feeling of just writing whatever is flowing through you, not thinking about what it is exactly that you're writing or how it makes sense or if it makes sense. You're just kind of writing everything out the way that it's flowing out. That's automatic writing, and that's a great way to kind of like work with your claircognizance, all your clairs, of course, but claircognizance.
I have found that's been a big one, like when I'm in doing a reading for somebody and, you'll be like in meditation, your eyes closed, you'll be receiving. And then it's like, okay, I got to write some of this down before I move on or else you're going to forget it. And even more comes out once you start writing. Like you will write down what you received and then all of a sudden it'll be like, and all this other stuff just starts to like come out. And so yeah, it's really cool when that happens. I didn't think that was possible. I thought I would break my connection and mess everything up, but it's actually get more.
Yeah. I think that it's important also to understand, and we've talked about this in so many different episodes. It's just like a little tidbit of information that we've dropped in here and there. But the claircognizance and those downloads and those intuitive insights messages will come in, and it's going to be a very clear, calm, matter of fact kind of statement that you receive, where if it's not going to be your claircognizance or a message if it's fear-based or quick or fast or like the energy
it's just matter of fact. Like,
it's just
kind
like
of rude in a way. Like
well
and because it does. It feels like it's kind of rude. Like it just kind of feels like where it's just like, like I've done that before where I've asked a question like in my head to spirit or something. And this again can be considered clairaudience, but like sometimes it's just like the answer comes in, but it's so like void of emotion. It's just a fact that our human can be kind of like, okay, it's rude. Let's be rude about it. And they're like, I'm not, I'm just telling you. And you're like, okay, are you mad at me?
It wasn't very nice.
No, very nice. And then on the other side, they're like, what do you fucking want? So like, I'm just telling you the answer. And we're just like, oh, I'm a human. I experience many emotions.
But not. Yes, spirit. Well, it is what it is with spirit. And that there is a lot of cookie coating is what I wanted to say.
Cookie cutting. Sugar coating. Yeah. Where it's just kind of like, it's just factual.
Yeah. Just fact.
Yeah, nothing around.
Yeah.
Another is like a cluttered mind blocks claircognizance.
So I was just talking to Aubrey and Nick about this.
Really? Yeah. When there's so much going on in there and you're like, which is me, I admit that it's hard for any of it to come in.
Yeah.
Right.
Aubrey was telling me and Nick at different times, we're like, oh, whenever I go to bed is when I do all my thinking. And I was like, that's because you're not creating space for these thoughts to come forward through your day. And they're like, what does that mean? What do you mean? I'm like, well, the only time that your brain is not busy is when you go to bed and it's trying to be quiet. So that's the only opportunity spirit has to bring all these thoughts, to bring this energy towards you.
Yeah.
But if you take time throughout the day to just quietly contemplate or just be calm and clear, they'll have the opportunity during the day to do that as well. So it's important for everybody to take just a couple minutes through their day here and there to just clear their mind and just be still so that these thoughts and these messages and this guidance isn't bombarding you when you're trying to sleep, because that is no fun at all. It's exhausting.
It is exhausting. Absolutely. So just like regularly clearing your energy. Like you can do meditation. Like again, I was like hated meditation, but 100%.
Let's be honest, you still do.
Okay, I do. I still do. I don't do it for myself. I only do it when I'm reading for a client. So I only do it when it has to. But every time I go in to connect and I start to do like kind of get down into that energy, I'm like,
You're so good there.
yeah, this is great.
It's like
So
that.
annoying. It
When
is
you're
like,
like, I should do this.
man, it's been a while. Why have I been like dragging my feet? Like, I don't want to do this. And then and you're like, this was amazing. What's wrong with me?
So funny.
So true. It's so true.
I know.
And I think like keeping a journal, or whether it's on your phone, like notes and stuff, like record your spontaneous knowings, even if they seem random. Because I always kind of say, like, add these things to your tool belt. Like when, I was developing my intuition, like the hardest part is trusting in what you're receiving and being validated. And so when I would have those moments that there was no other explanation of how I would know something, it was like something that I would put in my tool belt to like pull on when I was having self-doubt creep in and be like, no, but remember this, Allison, there's no way that, like, what you're doing, or you are receiving it. So kind of like having that, you know, track record there for you, it will help you with the trust part, right? Just to build the confidence in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rough one.
Yeah.
It's there for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then just like, we kind of touched a little bit on like ego and really balancing like claircognizance and the ego. And it's, we kind of said it's easy to confuse intuition with overthinking or fear, right? Very, very close. Like it overlaps, but it's just a energy shift, like you were saying. One's calm, one's fast, and like, Claire, claircognizance, well, all the clairs, all intuition is quiet.
Subtle.
And very subtle. And the ego is loud, urgent, and doubtful. And the more neutral the knowing feels, the more likely it's an intuitive truth. That's an interesting one. Like how, that neutral.
It's a great statement. Because it is neutral. It is just a neutral knowing.
Yeah. It's just a matter of fact, right?
Yeah.
So that's claircognizance.
Yeah.
One of the things we like, obviously that's part of like what we've done is wanting to teach others how to connect to it. So like these episodes, like the podcast in general is how to, like, we've been about trying to connect people back to their own intuition and their own spiritual journey and help kind of like anybody on this journey. But we've also put together like some what is it? Not self-help.
Self-paced.
Self-paced. There you go. It's going to be like self-serve. Self-paced courses that help support you in this. And one of them is Unlocking Your Intuition, which literally breaks down all of the clairs. Yeah, it's a great one. Breaks down all of the clairs in more detail, and then a whole library of practice videos to help you practice based on the different clairs. So we've molded it to be like, okay, this one's going to help with claircognizance, this one's going to help with clairaudience, like kind of really specifying them. So there's a ton of videos on that, but so kind of having that to be like, ooh, you do it at your own pace, a ton of information just to help support you in recognizing it and using your own intuitive gifts and all of that fun jazz.
Yeah, check it out. It was a lot of
check it out.
We had a lot of fun making those, and I'm really proud of that course. Like, I'm proud of all of our courses and what we teach and stuff, like, but that one was very well thought out and very well put together. And there's just so much information packed into that one little self-paced course.
I know.
Great.
Point. Yeah, I love it. And then obviously we have like Meet Your Spirit Guide if that's something that you haven't done yet and want to, and teaches you how to journey within meditation and visit different realms and stuff, which is really cool. So yeah, we love this work in the sense of empowering others to do it because it's freaking amazing, right? Like I did 2 readings last week and um I came off of those calls and you just it's so like fuck, like I still get amazed. It still like lights me up and like I get amazed by like how this intuitive stuff works and things coming in and then somebody validating it and then I'm like, "God, I love spirit."
I love that.
It's so cool to be able to experience that. Yeah, so that's that.
Yes. We have your or the soul contract readings on special until the end of this month. So May 31st. They are, if you use the coupon or the code soul contract, you'll get it for $97 Canadian, which is a steal for anybody that's not Canadian. Well, it's a steal for Canadians too. It's like you can't really get many intuitive readings for under 200 or $300 these days.
They've been fun. It's been really fun just going in specifically for that. Last week I read some contracts on twins.
Yes, so cool.
Yeah, and that was really interesting to see it and understand it and it's so amazing like when you kind of go in and receive and then just giving that clarity to anybody when you're trying to even if there's not like a difficulty it's like I'm just curious like what's and then it's so validating that's been really really cool and interesting so I've been enjoying those I think like there was just a specialty reading that we've put out and that won't be offered past May, like the discount or the reading. It's just something kind of fun and specialized. So thank you to everybody who's booked. I've been having lots of fun with those readings.
Woo! All right. Well, we'll be back next week with the final Claire.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's a couple more. We should probably touch on
maybe we'll like touch
so well known.
Yeah, maybe like we'll do the last main one and then maybe we'll do an episode on like combining the other ones that are just not as popular or well known or common and kind of put that all into one.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about clairaudience next week and that is well, you'll have to tune in.
Have to tune in.
Cliffhanger. Just kidding. Like the worst cliffhanger ever.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
I'll just Google it.
ChatGPT it. So good, Mandy. So good.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Bye.